Hey, everyone. Hoping everyone is good. Hoping everyone is great. I had a full weekend this weekend and I didn't know that it was going to pull me as much as it did, but it did, and it's all good. I am here, I'm present, and I'm feeling good. I want to give a shout out to 9 people who have reviewed the podcast. And y'all, my heart is full because this has really been the most reviews that I've gotten in a week span. I want to give a shout out to Teddy P88. He said that he is sitting in a moment in his life of growth and that the podcast is really resonating with him and assisting him. Rosalind AM, her title says, "Thank you." She found a clip of Not Your Savior on TikTok and she immediately came to hear the entire episode. I'm appreciative for you. Agno Simmons, she said the podcast is amazing. Discovered the podcast on TikTok. TikTok is doing its thing. JDX14 came across a snippet on Instagram and came and listened to the podcast. I am very grateful for you. Leonard922 saw I don't know if it was a video or something on his For You page and subscribed. I thank you for your review and your comments. Marajo says it's amazing podcast and she absolutely loves it. She discovered me through Instagram. I'm thankful that you took the time to review and comment on the podcast. Sniggin Sudi says 5 out of 5 recommend. They love listening to the podcast and listens while working out in the morning. I need a workout partner. Sniggin Sudi, where you at, girl or guy, whoever. I'm sorry, I should have put a gender on that. And Black is Beautiful said it's just smooth, short and sweet, loves the podcast. And I'm so glad that something brought you here. I'm appreciative. And last but not least, Love Jill 37 says it's a great podcast. She's new to the podcast, listened to several episodes, and she's just happy to be here. Thank you so much, y'all, for being here. I want to keep today's message short and sweet because next week, we are starting a new chapter and we're going into a new season. And I just wanted to leave you with a few thoughts. I will be back on Friday as well, but I wanted to keep this short. So on my Instagram, I shared, now today is Tuesday. So depending on when you listen to the episode, I shared a clip called Completely Full. And it's based on the fact that we have to speak and say that we cannot handle certain things because our hands are full. We have to understand with the true acknowledgement that we can't handle everything at one time. There is so much that we carry that we don't outwardly speak about. I think we keep it within ourselves and we do as we should for those who depend on us. And I speak about this often, but it doesn't matter the gender, male or female, whatever capacity that you have as far as an employee at a job, a father, a mother, a wife, a husband in a relationship, whatever capacity you hold, there is some responsibility that you have for yourself and for others. And sometimes it can be absolutely overwhelming. One thing I want us to be sure about is our honesty about the way in which we are showing up. It's very important that before we put blame on other people, that we are being very forthright and honest about the way that we are showing up and the actions that we are having and how it's preceding us. For example, I can't say that such and such keeps bearing their burdens on me or giving me responsibilities or doing this or doing that when I have the notion to say no. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule. When you have children, you bear the responsibility of making sure that they are, well taken care of. They're fed, they're clothed, they're sheltered. But beyond that, when it comes to family members, okay, and their constant need for your attention, their constant need for money, their constant need for you to handle things because you are the more responsible one, you have an opportunity to say no. And here's what I've learned: when your hands are all the way full and people are still, wanting to throw things in that pile, the moment that you say no is the moment that they start to refrain from you. And like I spoke about before, you'll become difficult in their eyes. But I always go back to this, and I have to remember this because this is one of those aha moments for me that really set me free. You do so much for other people, and you carry the loads for other people, and you handle, their responsibilities, and you're juggling so much. But could you get that energy back in return? Would they do those same things for you? And the moment that you cut yourself off from allowing these things to happen, how do they show up in your life? And for me, that's key. That was the aha light bulb moment when I decided that I saw myself doing a lot and multitasking a lot for other people. But when I asked, and that was very rarely, they were not doing those things for me. And so I had to, put up my hands and say, do you see this? Do you see what I'm carrying? I'm going to give you back what it is that you want to keep compiling on my pile. And I'm going to efficiently move through the way in which I need to for myself and complete some things and then be at peace. It's very difficult to tell people no. It's very difficult to make it seem, or in your way of feeling, that you disappointed people. But one thing about disappointment when it comes to other people, in the case of telling them no when it serves you best, is that you figure out who people are. If people can't understand that you have a lot to do and you are bearing a lot, and their answer beyond that is not, oh my goodness, how can I help? I'm so sorry. If you don't get an apology, or if you don't get a notion to assist in your boggled down responsibilities, then let me tell you something. Those people are not for you. Let's say that again. If people cannot recognize when you are at your lowest and you're boggled down and you have responsibilities, and they're not there to assist you, they're not there to help, and they're not there to apologize for the weight that they put on you, those people are not for you, because they are not aware of the way in which they are showing up when it comes to you. I also want to remind you to take some moments for yourself. It is not selfish for you to handle the things that you need to handle and then just rest. Resting is, in its, own way, in its beautifulness, a way to reset. And when you are constantly going and you're constantly moving, you are not allowing yourself enough time to just get your thoughts together, be in a sound mind, think clearly. That's like number one priority. Think clearly. And when you've always been in the notion to just move forward all of the time, this becomes a part of who you are. I want you to remember that you have to take care of yourself, and you matter. You are a number one priority, and everything, falls under. And let's think about this even in the family dynamic, because I think this is important, whether you are a man or you are a woman in the capacity of being a husband or a wife. And let's just think about this. When we are parents, we are the head of our children, right? And they pull from us. They don't mean to, but they pull from us because there are certain things that are required for us to be parents and efficient parents. But here's one thing that I had to say to my children at one point when they were pulling me from place to place. They wanted to be in sports. They wanted to do this. They wanted to do that. And it was literally getting off of work, taking one person here, taking the other person there, then doing the same for the next person, then having to pick them up at different times. And then by the time that I got home from my day when picking up people, and friends, because, sometimes they like to throw their friends in. Mama, can you take such and such home? I was dead tired, not having the energy to get myself up and cook, clean, do all the duties that I love, and I enjoy doing as a woman and as a wife. I was absolutely tired. Everything had expired me out, and I had to remember that, number one, I was the head in the sense of over my children as far as being a parent. And I remember having that conversation with them one day, and I said, I love y'all, and I am here to be an assistant, and whatever you want to do, I'm here. But we gotta, double down on some of these activities, because by the time I am rushing from things that I have to do and getting to you guys and taking you from place to place, I don't have time to do the things that I need to do that require you eating and require you studying. And so I had to take the primary role of discussing this with my children and backing up and saying that my hands were full and that I can no longer serve in multiple capacities when it came to extra things that they wanted to do, compounding on the things that I already said yes to, but then saying yes to other things. Again, I was taking responsibility for my yeses with my children. And then as far as marriage goes, sometimes I don't think our partners understand what we are dealing with in our responsibilities. And so communication is the key. It sounds redundant and it sounds like the go-to thing that everybody says, but it is very true that if we are not having communication, nobody knows what's going on. And I remember a time when my husband was asking and pulling for a lot of things for me to do. And also, because of the way in which he works, I was the sole transportation person. So the doctor's appointments, the dentist appointments, everything that needed to be done for the children, I was doing. And I finally opened my mouth and said, I need a little bit of help. I understand, you got to do this, that, and the other, but it would be great if in moments you would assist and help me with certain things so that I don't feel tired when I come to the house and absolutely depleted, because baby, my hands are full. And then the same thing, outside of family, dealing with family members when they need you, or friends. You have to be honest about where you are, and you have to be honest about the dialogue in which you are having with these people to let them know that you cannot serve in that capacity anymore. Now, before I end with what I was saying, because I told y'all it was going to be short and sweet now. Before I end with what I'm saying, I want us to be very upfront about how we are tackling issues, and not just speaking on it, but actually navigating through it in an honest manner. If your hands are full, just imagine you are carrying the load. Look, I like to use groceries. I know I'm not the only one who, when taking out groceries with a handful, you have kids who look at you, oh, groceries, but they're not putting out their hands to help. Do you see that my hands are full? So the analogy is that your hands are full with groceries, and you are going from one place to the next into your home to release those groceries and take them out. And if somebody is handing you more groceries to put on your arms to carry, you know that the load is heavy. Now, are you going to take it, or are you going to tell them, hey, don't you see that I have enough? And if you put more on me, I'm not going to be able to move from that place to the next. We have to think about things in analogies, and we have to think about things in the way in which we understand it for ourselves. So whenever, you get to the point where your hands are full and you have a person that you love and you want to help, and they are trying to put more on you than you can bear, say no. Be honest with your no. Be assertive with your no, and say no. And then every other instance beyond that serves with the no, ensure that you are saying the no again with assertiveness. And it's not I could, but no, it's a no. We have to follow through. It's not enough for us to say that the next time we're going to do it and we don't do it. We have to actually be actionable about the things in which we are saying, putting them into action and making them work for us. Your hands are full. You cannot hold anymore. And that is what it is. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tapping in. If you know of someone who may need a message, go back to the episodes and direct them to something they may need to hear. If you are new to the podcast and this is your first time listening, search and thumb through the titles and, hit one. It may be something that will assist you in your place in life. Also, my email is open. If it is something that, you have a question about or you want to hear me talk about, please do not be afraid to hit the email. That it's what it's for. If you are a podcaster or you know of a podcaster, send them my way. I have gotten so many from social media who in the near future are going to be doing some things with, and I hope to include those in my podcast here. Most of them are doing lives on Instagram and TikTok, but I want to have them on a platform here. So again, if you are a podcaster, if you know someone who does podcasting, let me know, hit me up in the email. And I want to just end it with, make sure that you are, residing in your peace and you are aware of where you are. Make sure that your no is your no. Make sure that you are not capturing, holding, containing anything that you cannot bear. And last but not least, make sure that you guys are really, really taking care of yourselves and putting yourselves first. Okay? I love you guys. I will see you on Friday. All right. Peace.